Special edition, we are live with one of the funniest people on the damn planet, Brian Posehn. He's in town at Helium Comedy Club all weekend long. What's up, Brian? Great to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm excited to see you, dude. We've seen you in so many stuff over the years. This weekend, you're going to be at Helium. We were talking a little bit before the show here at We Are Live. St. Louis loves you, man. It's like a thing. I don't know if it's Jeremy Essig just knocking on people's doors before you come to town or what's going on. It's a really cool setup that you have whenever you come in.
Yeah, I've always done well.
You have, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those cities and one of the few that I still do because I'm trying to do less comedy clubs, but
more acting, more writing.
Well, when I go out on the road, I like to do rock clubs
Yeah.
because then I'm in and out.
Right.
Comedy clubs, you're there for 3 days.
Right.
So I do less of them, and I really only do like my favorite cities. I do, and most of them are Heliums now.
Right.
Like I do Portland every year, and then there's San Francisco, which is not a Helium, but that's kind of it on the West Coast. And then I do Chicago and St. Louis every year, and that's
really cool.
But
to be in a place in your career where you can kind of pick and choose. I mean, it wasn't always like that.
Oh no,
right?
just recently.
Just recently. What took you to that next level?
Florida can wait.
You're not hitting the Tampa. What's Tampa have?
Well,
An improv? What do they have?
Yeah, I used to do all those chains.
Yeah.
And I got to move away from those chains, and I like myself more.
Good for you. I like you more now too.
I feel better in the morning when I wake up in a hotel.
Yeah.
When I know I'm not there.
When you're not heading to the Tampa Rock Station.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. No, so again, if St. Louis is one of your, I guess, specified cities that you hit, what are some of the, I guess, more memorable rock clubs that you've done in your time? I mean, it means a lot to you. You're a huge music fan, and it's actually like part of you as a character, as a person. What are some of the clubs that you've hit that are memorable as far as your performances go?
Some of the, like, Electric Factory out in Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done so many over the years, and
they add up, don't they?
Yes.
Well, you think
smoking.
that? Yeah.
Smoking things after the show
Smoking
doesn't help remember.
Are you currently smoking anything?
Yeah, not right this second. But
I bet you wish you were.
But America, California with the legal thing, I've leaned into it.
Yeah, and we love you for that. That's why.
I gained a little weight in the last because I had lost, and then I gained more back because now I have weed apps and food delivery apps.
Good for you.
And if you time them properly,
it
works out.
It's a hell of an afternoon, right?
Yeah. Or late evening or whatever. Yeah.
Or any day. Can we talk about being tall, and if you lose 50 pounds, people are like, did you knock a couple pounds off? If anyone else did this would be a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I did 70. And
did
people
you?
are like, you're looking slim. And I'm like, I worked my ass off, but then I gained half back. But
yeah, well, that happens. You can knock it off again.
I think so.
I'm curious. I remember your rounds that you were doing some promotion for your book that you put out. And it's really impressive to see, again, as somebody who's a multifaceted talent like yourself. Forever Nerdy came out end of last year.
Uh-huh.
How has the release been? I know you've worked on so many things over the years, but as far as this book in particular, how is it received? Are you happy now looking back on it? I'm sure it was like, what, a 2-year process?
I'm really happy I did it.
Yeah.
It's done well so far. And then it's one of those things that's now it's out there forever, and it'll continue to sell books, work that way. But for me personally, like, it was the hardest I've ever worked on anything. And but I also had a lot of fun doing it. And now that it's done, like, it was a lot of relief, like, right after it. Because, it was supposed to be 6 months, and it stretched out to like 8 months, and then rewriting almost a year. And my editor
self-inflicted
was like, well, it was me taking my time with it, and I'm also a bit of a procrastinator. But so the first 2 months I didn't get much done, and then I realized like 80,000, or I had to do 75 to 85,000 words, so right in there, and that's a lot of words.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then once you've done like 12,000. And it's not even close. You're like, oh my God, like, so many more. Yeah, it was a ton of work, and my son and my wife put up with a lot because my hours really changed. I still haven't gotten back to like regular hours because I was staying up. I always stay up late because of stand-up.
Yeah.
For this, I was up till like 4 a.m. almost every night.
Just knocking out.
Yeah, that was when I
after
was getting my
page.
most work done. Is after they go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
my wife and son, and then so like from 10:30 to 4 a.m.
Which makes the whole morning just gone.
Yeah, then I wasn't getting shit done the next day. Yeah,
How old's your son now?
He'll be 10 in 2 weeks.
What's he picking up in the creative department?
He's into everything, and he's my mini nerd, or mini me. You know, he's into everything nerdy that I'm into. And,
Is it the best feeling in the world?
It's super fun. I would have had a son earlier if I knew I was gonna have like a dude to hang out with. You know, like,
Right.
like instead of hanging out with my bullshit friends for all those years, like, you know.
I mean, I know you had struggles growing up and losing your father at a young age. I mean, is there wisdom that you pull from that that kind of keeps you in check to be the best dad you can be? Like, I know it's super important to you, and it's interesting to see the process for somebody who stays super busy to be a great parent too.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It was a little inspired by me not having that
Right.
and wanting to be like the best version of me as a dad that I could be. But it's been really easy, you know, once you have them, and you know all the cliches that everybody says about having a kid
all true.
are
They
totally
seem to be true, right?
It's hilarious, and you know, I had a friend go, "Hey man, you know," I would say really messed up stuff about commercials or something, or like some kid joke or whatever. I see something on TV, and it was a long time ago, and a friend of mine's like, "You won't say dark stuff like that after you have a kid."
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
right,
really
man.
don't. I'm still dark about other things, but
Right.
not about that. You know, no.
It's interesting how
totally
that
changed
changes
me,
people too.
yeah.
I'm 34. I don't have any kids, but I see too many people I respect and understand that they're normal. Like I'm like, oh, they got them too. And it's one of those things where it's like, no, they're not just telling you that because they want you there too. It seems to be a very, very real experience.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. So as far as being a dad who's had a voice on The Simpsons, like is that something that young kid checks out? I mean, like what are some of the, I guess, projects that you've worked on in the past, present, future that are going directly to your son?
Oh, so I mean, he can't watch a lot of it.
Right.
He
Yeah,
can't-
yeah.
The stand-up, he knows. He's been like, he came to my second to last recording. I did one in San Diego that Bobcat directed, Criminally Posehn, and he came to that show.
Yeah.
And hung out in the green room, but like wasn't able to really watch me, you know. And
But the fact that he was there probably
Yeah.
will always stick with him.
so he knows what I do, but he knows I do a lot, which might be weird for him too. You know, like he goes,
Tough to focus in.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
he's like, okay, he's written this book. He's writing. I'm in the middle of. I'm almost done. I just wrapping up on a comedy metal record I did with Scott Ian and Brendan Small and
Are
a
you
bunch
serious?
of other dudes. Yeah. And it's just full of like guest stars, but I'm finishing that up. So he's heard me bring home songs that I'm working on.
That's
So
gotta be.
Daddy also writes comedy metal songs with these rock star friends.
Right,
And
right,
then I
right.
wrote a book last year, and then I'm writing an animated show with him that he came up with an idea. So we're going to take an idea out and
With
see,
your son.
to show him like the process of writing and that kind of thing.
Maybe he's 16. He's going to be a showrunner for something.
Hopefully.
What is happening?
But like, so he doesn't like. Daddy's weird. Daddy does a bunch of things, and
That's
then
gonna
Daddy
make
has
him
to go to
super
the comedy
interesting.
store some nights, and you know things like that. So
Right. Joey Diaz watches him
Yeah.
while you go up on stage.
no way. Come here, kid. No, my son will never even meet Rogan.
That's fantastic. So your son's been to the Comedy Store?
No, but
Okay,
but he
okay.
knows Daddy goes
Right,
like,
right.
right in the middle of I'm reading and
Yeah.
then I gotta go. You know, like,
That's Comedy Store.
because I'm gone on the weekend and
Right.
he understands that, but then
Yeah.
he also sees at 10:30 at night I have to go do a set,
Right.
which most kids, because Comedy Store you can do sets at 11 o'clock midnight and you know
on a
that kind
Tuesday.
of yeah.
Yeah.
So he's getting used to a lot of different things.
This
is what
kid
I'm
is so ridiculously rad, man. And he knows what's going on. Again, if you guys are watching live, you need to go see Brian this weekend. He's at Helium Comedy Club. A great show last night. You know, we love Helium. You guys got to go out and support Brian all weekend. If you have tickets at the time, I'd get tickets now. Make sure that happens. You've worked with St. Louis comic, who we've worked with, Jeremy Essig, before. What was the connection that brought you guys together? I thought that was interesting. We've talked to you before, but I think it'd be, people would be interested.
Just that he's so funny. We met, I can't remember. I feel like we didn't meet in St. Louis. I feel like we met in Bloomington, Indiana at the, another club that I always do.
As most creatives
Comedy
do.
Attic. Yeah,
Bloomington, Indiana is where it all comes together.
Well, it's a college town,
Yeah.
and it's run by a comedy fan, the Comedy Attic, and the guy's, you know, he started his business when he was like early 20s, and he was just a total comedy nerd and opened up this little spot. I feel like that's where Jeremy and I met and hit it off. Just, you know, he's a super funny dude. He's super smart.
Into music.
Into
Plays music, yeah.
We're pretty much politically the same, and
Right.
you know, that kind
Hardcore
of thing.
Republican. I get it.
Yeah, total right wingers.
Where did you grow up?
Sonoma, California.
Sonoma, California. Yeah. So
Right wing hotbed.
when I think the face of the GOP, I think Brian Posehn, everybody.
Yeah.
I look forward to your next book that you'll be co-authoring with Trump. Right?
Sure, for sure.
It should be great. Put a comedic twist on it. Did you, speaking of that, we don't have to go too far into it. This is so far off the radar, but it just made me think. In regards to politics and just the Correspondents' Dinner, remember when Michelle Wolf did the thing?
Uh-huh.
I thought that was so funny. It was great, everything like that. In today's world, whatever, the guy's trying to be a bully and then kind of taps out on comedy at a Correspondents' Dinner. What does that make you feel like as an artist or just a human even?
Oh, that he won't even go?
That he won't even participate in the thing and he kind of makes a living off of picking on people, right?
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of it like that. No, I just think he's like one of the most thin-skinned presidents we've ever had, and you know, you saw that before he was even president. And I almost, this is a conspiracy theory, but I almost feel like he's president because of that time when Obama picked on him. I've heard
that
other people
thing too.
talk about it, and I totally agree with that. Like, I just feel like
yeah.
he was just like, no one makes fun of me. I'll show him.
That could definitely be it.
I just feel like that like that's not the whole reason, but
No,
I feel
no.
like it was a big part of him even jumping in. Because he acts like he doesn't want to do the job half the time too, so,
Right.
which is a weird thing for a president.
Humans can be motivated in very strange ways.
Spite, our first spite president.
First spite-filled president. Okay, so you don't have to stick around here too much longer. I know you got a busy day. Give me some background on the cartoon with your son. That's super interesting.
Well, we haven't even taken it anymore.
No, I'd like the idea given to me so I can put it.
Well, we're hooked up with the people, Stupid Buddy, that did, the stop motion thing that's so good.
I'm an idiot.
Robot Chicken.
Okay, I thought that was too obvious. Sorry.
Yeah, the Robot Chicken people, and they've done a ton of other animated things. But this is a kid show. It's basically my kid saying, well, he came up with this thing. I can't even do it, but we wrote a song together about this character, these two characters, and it was just a thing that he and I would sing with our wife, my wife,
It's getting
his
strange,
mom,
Brian. Yeah.
his mom, and it was just a family thing, but it was funny, and so I kind of pushed him to flesh it out, really.
Yeah.
Like, hey, well, who are their friends? What do these guys do? And that kind of thing. And then we made up a world. And then I went to a buddy of mine who's
And he's just being a kid.
an artist, and my friend just drew it for us because I can kind of draw, and so I drew the first main two characters for my son, and then I had my buddy, do a better version and then kind of flesh out these other characters, and then we're just like, my buddy and I both went, holy crap, this is a show. Like,
The kid's done it.
yeah, and let's take this out. And like, how many people go out with an 8-year-old at the time? But we've been developing it. So he'll be 10 by the time we're actually pitching it to people. But we're going out to a bunch of places in May. So
Doogie Posehn.
or at the end of May. So.
That's fantastic. Seriously, congratulations on that opportunity. It's very cool.
And if nothing happens, then he learns about disappointment.
There's a little bit of that in your world.
There's some like, oh yeah. Like, of all the stuff that I've been on, there's all the stuff that I didn't get on, and you know,
Does
and
it ever
there's the
surprise you?
auditions,
Yeah.
and just all these things, and he sees a little bit of that, but you know, I don't want to paint my world as a a rough thing, but there's highs and lows, and I think
Even at the
it's
level of
important to show a
success.
kid that
It certainly is.
you got to work hard for anything. You know?
Absolutely. At the level of success you've attained, I mean, there's still, you get told, I think that's the most interesting thing when you get to know people like yourself, that you're still, like, you've done all this stuff. Check out the IMDb. Just, it goes forever. By all stretches and all just points, you've been an extremely successful career. On multi platforms and facets, whatever you want to say. I still bet you get told no more than you get told yes about
and some
projects.
of there's been some rough ones, and when they go, I've missed Brian Posehn parts. Like I've had things that say a Brian Posehn type, and then not gotten them. Like when you're not Brian Posehn enough.
Who steals those roles?
Harlan Williams.
Yeah, damn it, Harlan. You were up for Sorority Boys, weren't you?
I was.
Damn it, Brian.
No, yeah.
Oh,
and
my
then he was
God.
up for Mission Hill.
Are you serious?
But we've had other stuff since then.
Yeah.
And there's other guys now. There's all these other, character actor-y guys that get things.
I hope you're on the same
beardy
page.
Dudes and, No, Harlan and I are friends whenever we, and he knows, we've had that
I was going to say,
conversation.
you'd rather have a mean adversary because Harlan seems like the
No,
best
he's
guy on the
coolest.
planet.
And we're friends forever because we did a Gathering of the Juggalos together. So we bonded. It's like we went to Nam. We performed in front of Juggalos at 3
Was
in
the
the
money
morning.
worth it?
It was, and the stories were. The money, it was the most I've ever been paid to do stand-up ever. Still.
One time?
Yeah, one
Did
shot.
you do an hour?
No.
Not even.
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
6 figures?
Nah. How many figures? What's that? What's
A lot of money.
Yeah, it was a lot.
For 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But how
And it
much
was
meth
like,
did you do on the way
I
in?
was working on Metalocalypse at the time, and I got a call from my agent, and I went in. Brendan Small, name drop, but sorry, he's one of my closest friends, total metalhead. And so I walk in and I go, dude, I just got asked to do the Gathering of Juggalos. He's like, you're doing it, right? And I'm like, yeah. But I just wanted you to know.
Right. That's a really, you talk about Mount Rushmore of achievements in a career. The Juggalos.
It was pretty insane.
Was there any backstage? So I know people that have run production for like their live shows and stuff, and they were like, yeah, it was actually weird. He was kind of nice. Like the guys that were like the dudes, the ICP dudes.
I have never met Sleepy and Slappy or whatever their names are. Johnny Tito
They just signed
or
the
whatever their
checks.
names are. I don't know. It's
So-
not Sleepy or Slappy or Johnny
Well,
Tito.
they're coming in right after this
Oh,
for an
shit.
interview. Yeah. This is we're the number one
Whoop, whoop.
ICP. So
What's
where's
up,
your
ninja?
Where's your Hatchet Man tattoo?
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta know.
On my balls.
Little stick and poke action at
Yeah,
the thing. Okay, good for you. Anything even remotely close to that you've performed at in metal clubs or anything? Like a Gwar show? Did you ever work with Gwar?
No,
No?
that would be fun.
Yeah.
No, but I opened for Slayer in Austin, Texas, and that was a little intense.
That would be really serious.
There were a couple of dudes who hated me so much for the entire time I was on the stage. They were just flipping me off and yelling Slayer at my face.
Oh my God.
And,
That's
it
the
was-
thing, like-
it was fun. Like, I like that kind of stuff.
Do you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love killing, but I also like when somebody really hates me.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
The opposite, to go that hard. Because I don't get the people that just are sitting there and smile, or kind of smiling and not laughing. But the people that are really frowning at everything I say, I'm just like, I want to get in your head.
You're making an impact because
Yeah,
the apathy kills you, right?
Right.
That's horrible to deal with. But
Right.
then someone who's expounding energy at your probably pretty funny jokes
Right.
are not. That's not a good thing for them, right? That just reminded me. Do you remember? Did you ever do Ozfest stuff?
No, I've never
No.
performed at Ozfest.
But you remember Ozfest,
oh,
right?
I've gone to them.
Do you remember in like it would have been like 2002 whenever the Andrew WK thing was taken off, and he went on Ozfest and he wasn't metal enough for the Oz. I was like, you're picking on Andrew WK?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes deep with people in those lines. Now, as far as your crossover from super specific culture into like pop culture, who's worse? The metalhead at the Austin show or a bridal party at like a regular comedy club in somewhere?
Bachelor parties are way worse
That's
than
the
one dude.
that's the bad.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's just 6 ladies who don't like me.
Right.
looking at each other going, whose idea was this?
Yeah.
But I've had good bachelorette parties.
Sure.
I've had lesbian nerds that came because
Very
they're
nice.
my fans.
Of course.
And I've had a couple of those, and I'm like, God bless you, ladies.
Please, we should book more of these
Yeah,
type
more
of
of
things. Culture, is it? I had to ask you this because it's super top of mind and everybody's freaking out over it, millions of people in on it. Is it strange to you the way you grew up, the things that you're into, the things you're probably an expert at, that Game of Thrones is the most popular thing in the world? I don't even know if you're into Game of Thrones, but you can make correlations like dragons and spells and stuff like that to the things in the 80s that were like just craziness, right? Like this is the biggest thing in the world.
I try not to dwell on how weird it is that pop culture and mainstream people are into the stuff that I've liked my whole life,
right,
and ridiculed me for.
Yeah,
because I would just be mad all the time. And so I try not to think about it.
Yeah.
I try not to think about how Marvel the world is now, and I've been Marvel my whole life.
Right.
And the fact all these characters, I never thought we would have a Thor movie, and I never thought that I'm not gonna crap on anybody, but just normal people would be like, oh, Thor, he's so dreamy. I never thought, like a secretary or not.
I know exactly. That's the question. It's like,
I never thought that regular people would get into all the shit that I'm into, and it's strange. But it's also cool because if you're making that stuff now, there's more people to watch that.
It's really interesting. With the big episode 3, you had people all over St. Louis going, Cards game, Blues game, Battle of the Bat, or whatever, the Game of Thrones, and then Endgame.
Right.
Like those 4 things mentioned in the same sentence. In 1987,
it's weird, right?
that's not a
when
thing.
When sports people are into the stuff that you're into, it's strange.
It has to be.
But you can't get mad about it.
No, you got to appreciate it.
My nerdy life worked out.
Right.
So it's not like I'm still, sitting in a shitty apartment with all my stuff going, meh, this is my stuff, no one else, I'm
going to let you go see Brian at Helium Comedy Club all weekend long. Before you head out, run, Ronnie, run. I just had to say that while you're in the room. As a guy who was probably, 16 when that came out.
I'm still proud of that thing.
It was really funny.
Bob and David don't love it, but I always have. I mean, it is what it is, and I think it's really funny.
That's really good to hear.
A lot of stories about, you probably know half the stories about what we went through making it, and why it's not perfect, but there's some stuff I'm proud of. Like I came up with the thing of Bob, because his accent was so bad. Yeah. And so I had him. The idea was he was born without an accent, so that explained why.
I fixed it.
And I loved, I'm still proud of that.
I was like, it's one of those things.
And he was cool with it. I was like, hey, I figured out why you can't do a British accent. Your character was born without one. And he's like, all right.
Genius. My goodness. Keep up the awesome work, man. People are going to pack Helium this weekend. We're excited to have you in St. Louis. What a pleasure, Brian. Thank you so much.
It's nice talking to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.